let's stop discrediting quarterbacks who have won a Super Bowl. I'm actually a Washington fan. Like Jalen Hurts, yeah, he had a terrible game last night. Jalen Hurts has been to two Super Bowls and won one, of course, But let's stop discrediting these, like Super Bowls is easy to come by. Let's stop acting like, of course, if you put in the work, like six-figure jobs is easy to come by. Let's stop acting like, $1 million is easy to come by. Let's stop acting like losing weight is easy to come by. Your work has to be put in. You get where I'm going with this. We discrediting these quarterbacks that won a Super Bowl. Ain't nobody like winning the Super Bowl like that, let alone, it take a very special person to make professional sports as it is. I mean, we discrediting these quarterbacks like winning the Super Bowl, and then we going on popularity with the ones that ain't won nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like Eli Manning, two Super Bowls, let alone he beat Tom Brady. But he didn't, he wasn't the first ballot Hall of Famer. So, you're going to discredit Eli as like, but this, but that, but this, but that. You know what I'm saying? Eli Manning is a solid quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Who won two Super Bowls? Nick Foles. You know what I'm saying? Carson Wentz, yeah, he was rolling. He got hurt. Nick Foles came in and held down the fort and won himself a Super Bowl. So, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody walking around with Super Bowls, NBA championship, Major League Baseball rings. You know what I'm saying? It's not a plethora of people. So let's stop discrediting this. Another one, Trent Dilfer. You know what I'm saying? Is he a Hall of Famer? No. Did he win a Super Bowl? Yes. You have to stay healthy, manage the game. You know what I'm saying? You the quarterback. It's like the point guard in basketball. Like stop like they everybody, especially on these sports shows. They go with the popularity. We all know Dan Marino. I mean, that was during my era. If anybody who's familiar with Dan Marino, and I'm saying that because of the younger generation. You know what I mean? He was a bad boy, but he never won a Super Bowl. Then we got Terry Bradshaw, who most probably know him from, the NFL Countdown, NBC, or whoever he worked for, won 4 Super Bowls, lost none. You know what I'm saying? But don't nobody talk about Terry Bradshaw. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. But my point of the matter is, let's stop discrediting, quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl. Even the ones that have been to a Super Bowl that thought it was just going to be that easy to get back and never went back. Back to Dan Marino. He went, I think, in his first, second year. Never got back. You know what I mean? So let's just stop the madness. Getting to a Super Bowl is not easy. You know what I mean? Facts is facts. Serious Jones, man.